Hey everybody, so today we're going to do a video about cones. We're going to talk about the different variety of cones you can get and some of the tools that we have that go along with the cones and help protect them and help pack them and help us roll them and help us authenticate them. So let's jump right into it. So first off, we got the raw cones, which I'm going to do, we have raw and elements. Both come in 79 millimeter and 110 millimeter of rolling space. And this is going to be your king size and your 1/4 right here. So as you can see, we'll put one of these down. It's got the classic raw hemp paper that they use. Now they also have these in organic as well, so you can get both sizes in organic and classic. Same thing goes with your rice paper. This is going to be your elements cones right here. Same thing, these are going to be your rice paper cones, and they're white, doesn't mean that they're bleached. So a lot of the times people will say, hey, I got these cones in the mail and these aren't authentic raw cones. Now, not all raw cones come with raw tips. This is what a raw tip looks like. So we'll put that right next to those cones right there. And as you can see, this has raw written on it and these don't, but these are raw authentic cones. So as you can see here, which we'll talk about in a minute, the pre-rolled cones, these tips do not have raw on them as well. So, but to authenticate a raw cone, to make sure that what you're buying, if you're buying these in bulk, if they're raw or not, the truth is going to be by looking at the paper. So I'm going to hit this with the right angle, and as you can see, the scaling, this is going to be your lattice technology that Raw has patented on their cones and on their papers. So as you can see, it has that right on there. So a good way to do this, if you don't have, this is obviously I'm using a light for this, which is why you're able to see it, but normally what you could do is you actually could take a small little LED light or just a house light or a bulb and just run it near the light, and you can see the lattice technology. So that's really going to be your indicator on knowing if what you're getting is authentic. Don't judge it by the tip, because Raw only does cones with Raw printed on the tip in 3-packs and 6-packs, and that's if you buy it in a 3-pack or a 6-pack. Not necessarily if you're buying in bulk cones or someone who's selling their cones that they buy in bulk. So never use the tip to be the authenticator. Always use the paper, because raw paper is going to make the transaction authentic or not. So if it's not used, then I wouldn't buy it, or I'd get my money back. Especially if you're suspect that the cones aren't real and authentic, make sure you get your money back. So next thing we'll talk about is going to be the cone caddy. The cone caddy is a really unique item, and I do believe that they're phasing this out because they're not as readily available anymore to buyers. So what you're going to do is, here we'll use the elements cone so you can see the contrast. But basically what you can do is you can hold about 6 loaded cones in here, and then basically what the tin's going to do is it's going to create a crush-proof packaging for you. So, and again, what you could also do is use this as a little rolling tray on the go. So this could be like your little tray where you're doing your packing, and then you could put your product right in here, and then you could pack your cones on your tray, and then you can lay your empty cones on top of it. So it basically could be a rolling kit on the go, if you really wanted to explore that. I mean, I like these because of that one specific purpose. I could pack, if I'm really like about to hop out of the house and I'm in a rush, I could throw whatever I'm rolling in the bottom here. I could pack like, half dozen cones, close it up, take it on the go with me, and then I could worry about what I need to do with it later. I don't have to worry about getting a bunch of things together. I could just pack this case and go. So yeah, I really like the fact that this protects your cones when they're in your pocket. Even if they're empty, protects them. When they're full, it protects them. There's nothing worse that you have when your cone, it gets a sag joint right here near the filter and it bends. That's probably the worst thing that you could possibly have happen to your joint that you have rolled. And then again, we'll talk now about some of the ways that cones come when they're shipped. So when we look at our cones here, we have the elements come with some white packing straws. Now these packing straws are really nice for getting down to the bottom. Raw comes with packing straw as well. Raw is clear. Sometimes they'll come like this, where they're just a piece of flat cardboard that you use to, use the actual broad surface of it to flat pack your product and material, which I imagine they're probably trying to go with an all paper approach. So eventually I imagine they'll probably phase out the straws, but for now they come with straws, and plus they really help as a nice packing tool, and it keeps your cones from getting crushed because it's a rib spine. Trying to see what's going on with the straw. It's a little wonky, but yeah, this is really going to help your cone from getting crushed. It allows the paper to not get crushed. So you can see it springs back into place, and the straw really helps keep that process happening, and it adds to a nice firm base down here too, where it's not going to bend halfway like that. So you really have to put some force on it to really make the cone bend that way. But yeah, it's really nice to have that type of thought process in behind the cones, and to make sure that you're protecting the cones from being damaged. And it's just a fine little touch that you can do to keep this as a manufacturer from getting destroyed along the way from production to the customer. I really think that says a lot about the company. So yeah, these are definitely probably two of the best flavoring cones, the hemp and the rice paper cones, the best flavor cones, period. So in regards to smoking smoothie, I like the organics as well. Next, let's talk about the cone filler. So the cone filler is put out by Raw. It usually comes with a little packing tool that's in there, which really what it does is you use the blunt side right here to actually pack the cone down, and you can use this side to help pick out your tray if you get any material caught in here. So let's explain how this works. So basically what you do is you open up the lever, and in here there's a little gully like a hopper, and you're going to load up your material in here and pack it into this little silver beam, which is basically going to be what's filling. So then when you're ready and you have your cone on the end, so let's slide a cone on the end here. So now that you got your cone on your end like that, when you pull it back, it'll actually slide in there and pack your cone. So you're just going to basically put a little in, slide it back, load the tip of your cone, then you'll pull out your packing tool, you'll pack the tip of the cone, and then you can slide it on, and you can keep packing more until you're full. So basically, you're going to load this up and just slide it in the cone. So that's going to be how you're going to load your cone using the cone filler. And the cone will stay right on just like that. Comes on perfect, as you can see. And it comes with two different types of tips for your cones, just in case they get a little worn out. You can swap these out. And to swap out the tip, you're just going to lift up on this white plastic part, and the tip will come right out. And then there's your two tips right there. So, and then you'll slide the replacement tip right in there, and you're good to go. So the cone filler is really meant for raw cones for sure, because I mean you definitely don't want to smoke anything else if it's not as pure as what this is right here. So I would recommend using raw cones with the raw cone filler, because you're definitely going to have that right snug fit on the tip, where the cone and the tip, where it holds the cone. So you're going to get that firm, snug fit every time, which is the reason why I'm recommending this, because I can imagine the hassle you're going to have trying to fill up non-authentic raw cones, and it might not be the same fit, and you go to push that bar through, and all your stuff falls out of the tip right here, and your cone falls off. I mean, that could just be ridiculous to deal with that. They also make this in king size as well. Same thing goes with the cone caddy, king size cone caddy. You can also put papers in here. It's not specifically meant for cones, but I like to use it for a cone caddy to have that crush proof tin box. But they also make the cone filler in king size. So just like your 1 1/4, it's just going to have a longer rod and a little bit longer packing gully, which allows you to go further back into the cone, which is going to be how you're going to be able to get the product up in there, so you can use your packer to pack the tip. So in regards to filling cones, there are some hand loaders where it's basically a funnel, and you put your cone onto the funnel and you basically just kind of shimmy it and then pack it. Those are nice too, but I recommend, this is like so easy to do this, it's almost mindless when you're doing the motions, but it packs it very well in regards to how it injects the product into the cone. So again, I would recommend using this type of cone filler, the machine cone filler versus the hand funnel one. And yeah, always make sure that your cones that you're buying are authentic raw cones. And remember, you're always going to be looking for that lattice technology, as you can see right there. So I'll leave a link in the description below to some of these products, the cones, the pre-rolled cone tips, the cone filling machine. If you guys would like to try to roll your own cones, I do recommend grabbing these pre-rolled cone tips because the angle is absolutely perfect for rolling a great cone. And I'll put links in the description if you want to get any of these cones for yourself. Again, you don't need to have a filling machine. All you need is the cone, because the cone comes with the packing tool, and the packing tool is really all you need. If you know how to pack a cone, I mean, that's all you need. This is really for packing a few cones at a time, and it makes it easier, or packing one at a time, and it makes it a little easier. But when you're buying cones, all you need is the cone and a little packing tool. And if you don't have a packing tool, and you perhaps didn't get one, but normally all cones come with straws that you can use as packing tools. But if you have something that's like maybe a chopstick, chopsticks always work great. This is very similar to a smaller version of a chopstick, which is what the raw cone filler comes with. And now I like the chopstick because the chopstick has the pointy end, which isn't usually as pointy as this. It's actually a little bit more rounded like a normal chopstick, and then the end usually is flat or rounded, which is perfect for packing, just like that. And then obviously you could still use the actual pointy tip in there because it goes actually to the full base of the 1 1/4 cone. So but yeah, anything that's similar to this, that's smooth on the outside, because you don't want to have any barbs poke through your paper when it rubs along it. So as long as it's smooth and it's something about this size, I would use that as your packing tool if you don't happen to have access to one. So I mean, I've used a stick before when I was out camping, and I had some cones with me, and I wanted to roll them up, and I wanted to pack it. So I've used a stick before, and I just shaved the bark off with my knife. So, but yeah, again, any type of packing tool will work, but chopsticks are preferred if you have those laying around the house, or a straw, and a straw would work out great. Just make sure whatever you're using, if it's not something that came with your cone, like these particular packing tools, just make sure that you go easy when you slide it in for the first time, because it might be wider. It might be wide when it goes in the hole. It might fit perfectly fine in the hole, but it might be too wide once it gets to the narrower part, and it might actually tear your cone. So just be very careful when you're initially going in there. Don't go too aggressively when you're packing the cone. Start slow, especially if it's something that it's new, because you definitely don't want to tear your cone if you don't have many of them and you don't have any with you to replace it. So I hope this video helped you guys out. Again, be looking in the description. I'll put links to all these items here for you guys to be able to purchase. And if you like this video, subscribe, and let me know if you'd like me to review anything else that's specific, or if you have any ideas, leave them in the comments below. Have a great day.